Hello friends, today we're going to talk about the chemistry chapters, that is your 12th syllabus Maharashtra board. The first chapter name is solid state. You must aware about the solid because up till now we have many things heard about the solid, but in this chapter the speciality of this chapter is that in this we are going to talk about in very detailed manner of the solid structure. That's why this chapter is introduced to you. Okay. Now, when you talk about the solid, what comes in your mind? The matter which is strong enough, having a proper shape, volume, and density. Definitely, the question arises that why it possesses so. The exact answer of that solid do contain a strong intermolecular force. Acha, what do you mean by intermolecular force? The force of attraction between two particles of the solid are strong enough to hold the molecules in a proper shape and definite manner. So that's why solid state has a strong intermolecular force, and because of that strong intermolecular force they do possess a proper shape, volume, and the density. In this chapter we are going to study about something in very detailed manner. Okay, now what is the unit of the solid? Means what is the structural part of the solid is atoms, it can be molecules, or it can be particles. In this chapter we are going to talk about the smallest unit of the solid as a particle. So while studying this chapter, particle means a smallest part of the solid, we have to understand that. Okay, so let's start with the solid state. Distinctly, solids are distinguished between in two parts. First is a crystalline one, have a proper shape and all kind of things. Another one is amorphous, which has a powder-like appearance. So we are going to study about this in a detailed manner. Now we are moving to the crystalline solids. Here I listed some the characteristics of the crystalline solids. Crystalline solids have a regularity and a periodicity in arrangement. The arrangement between that means what? The bonding between the any two molecules inside the solid, that we can say the intermolecular force is strong because they have a arrangement between the two or consecutive particle, they are regular, and the periodicity they extend over the large range. Suppose the arrangement is like this, so they can be extend over the large range. For example, we can take example to understand this case. A mat. Mat has a mesh-like structure. It extends over the large. So the distance between any two consecutive boxes are the same. In same cases, let's consider this box as a solid particles. So what we can say about the periodicity and regularity? The particles of in the solid, crystalline solids, have a equal distance from each other, and they do possess to the larger extent. So what's that? They have a regular and periodic arrangement, and that is why, because of this property, they have a proper shape. Then they along with the proper shape, they have a sharp melting point. I'm going to discuss in detail why they have a sharp melting point, but because here we understand that they have a sharp melting point because only this arrangement only. Okay, because the intermolecular force is spread all over the particles, so whenever there is a considering melting points, it's a sharp melting point. At exact, what is the sharp meaning? At exact temperature they are going to melt. Now they have a structure, okay, all the crystalline structure except the cubic structures are anisotropic. What do you mean by anisotropy? Let's talk in a different manner. Anisotropy, let's take example of the wood. The wood is what? Wood has a different measurement according to their grain. So same, when you talk about the anisotropy, means what? Anisotropy is a property in which, is a physical property in which it changes according to the measurement. So like, for example, in crystalline manner or arrangement, different if you consider different solid crystals, then its conductivity, its melting points, its refractive index, it will be changed as the direction will be the change of the particles. So that's why it's called anisotropic. Okay, see example are ice, NaCl as a salt, sodium chloride, gold is also there, diamond is also there. Okay, what is the beauty of the diamond? It's a very tough material found in the, okay, then graphite is also there. So now we have know that in earlier classes we have studied that when you talk about the diamond and graphite, they are allotropic in nature. But what is the difference? They made up of the same carbon. What is the difference in that? The arrangement and periodicity of the consecutive particles is different in graphite and different in diamond. So diamond is tough, but graphite is not that much tough as the diamond. So what makes this crystalline? It's the regularity, periodicity in consecutive particles of the arrangement. Let's move on to the next topic, that is the amorphous solid. Whenever the word amorphous comes in our mind, that is randomness, correct? They are not in a proper order. Let's take example of the stock photograph of the liquid that shows the random particles of the liquids. They are loosely arranged, we can say. Okay, so when you talk about the amorphous, these are the characteristics. Okay, can we say the amorphous is nothing but a super cool liquid particles because they are arranged like a liquid, loosely arranged. So let's talk about this amorphous. In the amorphous solids, they are randomly arranged. They do not possess like a crystalline. They do not possess a periodicity and regularity. They are randomly arranged. The particles are randomly arranged in any way. They do not possess any shape. Now, what is the short range? In amorphous, the order of the arrangement is a short range. They are not long lasting or they are not long extension as per the crystallines. They are short range. Now, they melt gradually as the temperature interval. So, they melt slowly, not as a crystalline structure. They have a sharp melting point. Suppose exact and 52 degrees Celsius is gonna melt. No, in this case they melt gradually, slow by slow, धीरे धीरे melt होते हैं as the temperature is little bit increases in the interval of the time. Now they are the isotropic. It is the exact property opposite to the anisotropy. What we studied in crystalline. What is the isotropic? Obviously, if I am saying that is opposite, that means what? Isotropic properties such that the electrical conduction and refractive index are independent of the direction of the measure. So they are literally independent not according to goes the direction. So at any magnitude, they show the physical things are the same. That is called isotropic in nature. Here are some pictures of the amorphous. In this chapter, we have to study some phenomena while studying this. So the first phenomenon is that isomorphism. Whenever the iso means same, morphism means structure similarity should be there. So what is isomorphism? When you talk about the isomorphism, whenever two or more substances have a same crystals, they are known as the isomorphism. So can I say they have a same crystalline structures, they are termed to be isomorphism. See, as they have a same crystalline structure, they should possess the same chemical composition, correct? Chemical composition almost will be the same, definitely. So let's have a look on this example. NaF, that is sodium fluoride, and MgO, magnesium oxide, do possess the isomorphism and they show the chemical composition in the ratio of 1:1. Whereas, let's take another example, that is CaCO3 and MgCO3. Whereas CaCO3 and NaNO3 do possess the same property, but the ratio is a 1:1:3 ratio they possess. The second phenomena is known as a polymorphism. As the name suggests, poly means many, morphism means structure. So many structures are found. It's called polymorphism. See, polymorphism is the one in which the single substance exhibit two different forms, or we can say crystalline structures. Crystalline structure. Okay. So two different forms or two different crystalline forms are exhibit by the single substance is known as a polymorphism. See, polymorphism form under the different conditions. So conditions are different, then only the forms can be whichever the forms are in a different arrangement of the crystal. That's why the shape of the crystals is quite different. So now example is here is calcium carbonate. See, calcium carbonate is a crystalline solid, but in this case, because of the conditions are different, it may form aragonite arrangement or may form a calcite formation. See, formation of these two different structure forms or crystalline form depends on the condition on which imposing on the calcium carbonate. The another example of polymorphism is a silica, where a structure are found as alpha quartz, beta quartz, and carbaloid. These are the structures which are the found. Okay, can I say in a simple manner, the polymorphism is nothing but the allotropy. We have heard about the allotropy. So, what is allotropy? A substance showing different physical structures. Okay, so allotropy best example is carbon. Carbon found in three forms. First is your graphite, then diamond we can say, and the last one fullerene. We must read about this. So can I say polymorphism is nothing but the exhibition of the property of the allotropy. Now we are going to talk about the classification of the crystalline solids. They are in mainly distinguished into the four categories. First is your ionic crystals, second is your covalent network, third is a molecular crystals, and the fourth one is a metallic crystal. So the first classification is that ionic crystal, as the name suggests, ionic, it contains ions, positive and negative charge should be there, that is ionic crystals. Now the consecutive particles are the charged ion, that is positive and negative, positive cation, negative anions. But we have to consider one point, they are differ in size. So anion and cations are not the same in size, they can be differ in size. That is the most important point here over here. See, as a solid structure, the force of attraction between the two particles are there. Here particles are the ions. So now whenever the positive cation and anion are held together, they are the force around them is a Coulomb force. What is the force? Coulomb force. So ionic bonds are around by the Coulomb force. And can I say in a simple manner what is Coulomb force? Why it exists? Because this positive and negative, they are attracted to each other by the force known as electrostatic force of attraction. So this is the force which held the all particles in the ionic crystal. Because of the ions, they are hard and brittle in the structure and they have a high melting point. Now, see, basically they are non-conductors of the electricity, but when dissolved in water, there is an exception, when dissolved in water, they act like a good conductor. Can anybody tell me why it happened like this? Earlier they are not conducting electricity, और अभी पानी के अंदर जाने के बाद वो electricity conduct कर रहा है. Because the answer is what? Ions. After dissolving into the ions, the ionic bond obviously separated out. So there is a positive, negative charge, and now water is a polar solvent. We are much aware about that, and that's why it acts like a good conductor when dissolved in the water. What are the example? Sodium chloride having a positive charge, negative charge. This one we can say. So NaCl, K2SO4, K2SO4 is there. Then CF2, calcium fluoride is there, and KCl, potassium chloride is there. These are some examples of the ionic crystal. So what is the nutshell? Ionic crystal, they are held together by the positive and negative ions, cations and the anions. The force of attraction is the electrostatic force of attraction. They are a hard, brittle and high melting point. These are the points we have to consider when you talk about the ionic crystals. Okay, let's talk about the next one, covalent network of the crystal. Name is going to talk about a lot more about this covalent network. Definitely the molecules are held together by the covalent bond. Now, in this, the particles which are attached together, they are nothing but the atoms. In earlier, in ionic, there was a ions. In this covalent, the atoms are present. So consecutive particles are held together are the nothing but the atoms. See, the consecutive atoms in the covalent network crystals are held together firmly by the covalent bond. And as we know that covalent bond is the strongest bond, so which result into the formation of rigid three-dimensional structure. Which is why it is rigid, because it's a covalent bond, and covalent is the strongest, so it form a rigid three-dimensional, which forms further a giant molecule. And here the point we have to remarkable point over here, we have to understand that the entire crystals are the single molecule, because it's a giant molecule. They are held together into the covalent bond. I mean, they are held together firmly with the covalent bond, makes this a giant molecule, and the single giant molecule is nothing but single molecule is there. So now the next point is that they are very hard. Now tell me why they are hard. The ultimate reason is what? Covalent bond. Covalent bond is a strong, which makes it rigid, and because of rigidity they are very hard and makes them incompressible, and because of the further of that rigidity they have a high melting point and the boiling point as well. So that is the structures, or I can say feature, because of the rigidity. Rigidity comes because of what? Strong covalent bond, firmness. Okay, so now next point is that because of the covalent bond, which is very strong, entire atoms, that is a particle, held together, and those electrons are localized. As the electrons are localized, they are not motile. Definitely they are non-motile. As they are non-motile, they do not possess the property known as the conductivity, because the electrons are localized. एक जगह से दूसरी जगह जाएंगे नहीं, बिकॉज अभी क्या होगा, कोवैलेंट बॉन्ड ने इसको स्ट्रांगली जकड़ के रखा है, सो दे आर नॉन मोटाइल, सो दे एक्ट लाइक अ पुअर कंडक्टर. योर एग्जांपल आर डायमंड्स, quartz is SiO2, cerium oxide is there, and boron nitride is there. So what is the point we have to understand in covalent network? The particles firmly held together by a strong covalent bond, which makes it rigid. Because of rigidity, it is incompressible, high melting point and boiling point is there. They are poor conductor of electricity because electrons are localized. These are the points we have to understand very well and very much clear about that whenever we are talking about the covalent network. The word network means what? They are firmly attached together, held together with the network-like structure because of the covalent bond. Okay, let's move to the next part, that is the molecular crystals. Before we should go ahead, students, can you tell me what is a molecular crystals? Molecule, what is molecule? Definitely. Molecule means what? When two atoms combine, जब ये दो atoms combine होके बन जाते हैं, उसको molecule बनते हैं. इस concept को याद रखिए, ये पढ़ो, it will be easy. Substances such as carbon dioxide, chlorine, oxygen, CH4, on the solidification process, they forms a molecular crystals. The crystalline organic compounds also forms a molecular crystal. See, you have noticed here CO2, Cl2, O2 are the molecules. On the solidification process, they form the molecular crystal. In this molecular crystal, the consecutive particles are nothing but the molecules. What are the molecules? Unbonded single atoms are the molecules. They are unbonded single molecule. Okay, now these particles are held together by the covalent bond. Okay, they are held together by the covalent bond. And see, covalent bond is what we know about that covalent bond, we have earlier studied that, but in this case they are held together by the intermolecular force of attraction. And what are they? There are three types of the intermolecular force of attraction. By the atoms, not here atoms, here molecules are held together. इस क्रिस्टल में molecules एक साथ रखे जाते हैं because of the covalent bond. But covalent bond में कौन सा force of attraction है? Intermolecular force of attraction. And there are how many types of intermolecular force of attraction? Three. The first one is weak dipole interaction. So the force of intermolecular attraction because of weak dipole interaction. See, we have studied this in 11th standard. So in this case, what covalent bonds are held together by intermolecular force? So weak dipole means what? Whenever you heard the dipole, it must be the polars. molecule should be there. So example will be solid H2O, HCl will be come into the picture. After that, the second one, force of interaction is what? Your London force, or it's simply termed as dispersion force of interaction. Here are the solvents are what? Considering polar. Here will be the non-polar solvents are there. Example here is CH4. Okay. CH4, which is what? Non-polar one is there. So London force must be found in this case. Now the third force of interaction is here is your intermolecular hydrogen bonding, which is found in, we can simply say, ice and ammonia. Okay, what is the process? Solidification. After the solidification, there is a formation of covalent bond, which has the particles held together by the intermolecular force of attraction. Three classified intermolecular force of attraction: weak dipole-dipole, London force, and the intermolecular force. Because of this, but these three classified intermolecular force are termed as a weak one. These are a weak one. Because of that weak intermolecular force, they have a low melting point, and because of the low melting point, definitely the structure will be different. And see, as they are the particles held together by the weak intermolecular force, so they are not acting as a very good conductor, so they may be a poor conductor of the electricity. But even though they act a good insulator, because of these forces which makes the particle held together, they act like a good insulator. So what we have to understand that the good insulator are nothing but a molecular crystals. Second point we have to understand, after the solidification they form the molecular crystals. So this we have to understand. This part we already done in 11th standard. If you refer those things, you can come to know that. In this case, we must know that this force of attraction which particles are held together are weak, and that because of weak they have a low. The last part is a metallic crystal. This is very important, and here you should understand the concept very well. Okay, so let's talk about that. What is metallic crystal? They are formed by the atoms of the same metallic element. This point has to be remarkable here. They form atoms of the same metallic element, and these elements are held together by the metallic bond. So further we have to understand that what is a metallic bond. When we talk about the metallic bond, we have to understand that MB stands for the metallic bond. We have to understand that in this metallic crystal, the atoms are held together of the same element. See these atoms, what do you mean by valence shell? In what is valency? The electrons found in the outermost shell. So in these crystals, when these atoms, the electron of valence shell leaves the shell. Okay, leaves the shell. As the electron leaves from the valence shell, definitely the positive cation formation takes place. Now what happens with these electrons? इस इलेक्ट्रॉन के साथ क्या होता है? अगर इलेक्ट्रॉन को छोड़ के जाएंगे तो पॉजिटिव कटायन बनता है. That is we understood here. So that negative charge, that is these negative anions are entirely moving randomly in the crystals. So we have to understand that. First point is this. Second point is this. So can we describe a metallic crystal as array of? Can I say it's an array of positive charge immersed means spread over, immersed in sea of negative charge ions. Why? Because these electrons, after leaving the valence shell, they are moving around the crystals. So we can say or describe these metallic crystals as an array of a positive charge immersed in the sea of negative charge ion. So now we have to understand the metallic bond. Please students understand this. Metallic bond is what? It should be the bond between something. So what are they? See, these electrons which are moving, suppose this is the electrons are moving here and this is the positive cations are formed over here. So the force of interaction or the interaction between this positive charge cation form after what? Leaving the electron, and the connection between the negative charge and the positive charge is your metallic bond. So have you understood that what is the metallic bond? The interaction between that positive charge and negative charge is the metallic bond. So you have to understand very clear in this matter. Now let's talk about the characteristic of the metallic crystal. First is a malleable. When you talk about the malleability, see, we already have done this, but we are just talking about it in simple manners. Malleability is nothing but hammered into sheets. Correct. Then they have a property of a ductile. That means they can be drawn. Into wires. And the last property, they are a good conductor of electricity. As well as heat. This is the major advantage. Examples are sodium, potassium, lithium, calcium, iron, and the gold. So I hope you understand very well. Here the major concept understanding is that metallic bond. What is the metallic bond? I'm again going to repeat it for you guys. So what is that metallic bond? Metallic bond is what? A negative charge. What is a negative charge? The electron is leaving from that valence shell, so left behind a positive charge, that is called cation. So that interaction between that cation and that freely moving, randomly moving electron inside the crystal only. So that is the force of attraction between that positive charge and that negative charge is called a metallic bond. So you have to understand this very well. I hope you understand. So let's move for the further topics.